Boom! What's going on, my people? I got a confession to make. I'm done with podcasting. I'm tired of working countless hours, recording, publishing, trying to find the energy to promote my podcast. Nobody's listening. I'm good, y'all. I have like a good month of podcasts. I tried it out and it's not for me. It's just not for me. I'm done. I'm good. It's cool, but just wasn't for me. Does that sound familiar to you? Have you ever questioned yourself? Have you ever heard those voices in your head whisper in your ear? It's podcasting is just not worth it. It's just I can't stay consistent no matter how hard I try. I got a day job, I got kids, I got family, I got other obligations, Ozeal, but I just can't stay consistent. Peace to podcasting. I'm out. Just kidding. You know, part of the journey is going through the ups and downs and really understanding how this works, especially being a creator. And which is the reason why I felt like I was compelled, like this topic is much needed. So no matter if you're a podcaster, if you're a creator, YouTuber, I feel like this could apply to anything that you are pursuing in life. What's going on? Boom, boom. Like, look who stepped into the room. Oh, by the way, if Facebook user, hello, you have to give StreamYard permission. Let me do housekeeping. I just went right into it. I just was like, there's some role playing here. Give StreamYard permission to showcase your name, like Mr. DeLeon here. Boom. Or I think you said, I think you said boo. Did you mean to say boom, Alex? But boo, what's going on, man? You didn't like my intro, bro? What's going on? What's going on, Alex? Good to see you, brother. Always. Yes. Listen, I'm excited. Happy Monday, my friends. If this is your first time tuning in, let me go ahead and do all the branding stuff. I am the host that loves you the most, Ozeal, and we're doing a live stream. You're here live and vibe with Ozeal, a little live segment that I have going on that I started, I think, last week. Actually, we've been going live, I think, four times already? Yeah. So it's been fun. I've been enjoying this. I've been expressing my growing like passion for live streaming. I love doing the podcast thing. I love it. Okay. There's no April Fool's joke there. I'm not done with podcasting. I love podcasting. I'm going to continue podcasting. Although there's like, a tug of war every now and then where you have to like, come on, man. Do I really want to do this? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to do it because I love it. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. So, yeah, I introduced myself. If you guys don't know, Ozeal, I'm a podcast coach. I'm a creator. I'm a community builder. I run this amazing group called Pod Houston. I run another group called Vid Houston with two other fellow creators, Roy and Eric. And really just excited about building community and doing what I can to serve you in your creative endeavors. So if this is your first time tuning in, if you're just tuning in right now, say hello. Comment. Apparently, like Facebook rewards the live streamers or on YouTube if they see some engagement. So just like engage with me. Because after all, the show is called Live and Vibe with Ozeal. So hopefully you got a cup of coffee or beverage of your choice. I had 2 cups of coffee, which is the reason why I'm amped up. But I am drinking some water. I told myself that I would be drinking a lot more water. How much water do you drink? You know how like everybody says you should drink a gallon of water? That's a lot of water. Has anybody, do you do that consistently? Speaking of consistency, do you do that consistently drink a gallon of water? Is that what you do? What does like your water intake look like? I feel like I don't drink enough. So I'm trying to like incorporate some healthy habits, trying to do my thing here and drink more water. So I don't know. It's just a lot. So cheers to you. Happy April. Here we go. Sorry, I came in when you were trying, when you were dropping streaming. What's up, Alex, man? Okay, who? Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what we got here. We got somebody who said, "Hey, Ozeal, I can't tell you after 12 years of podcasting how many times I've questioned to keep going after two different networks and multi podcasts." I think I know who this is. DW, what's up? I dropped my first network, which was very successful, but the real life came into play before my health issues. I have told all of my new podcasters, stick with it, be consistent. You give good talk, people will come. 1000% DW. Shout out to my boy DW, Earplug, Earplug Podcast Network. My boy was a fellow speaker as well at Podcast Influence. My man, always great to see you. I see you, man. I see you, bro. I see you. And then Alex says, don't forget the hip hop specialist. Oh man, Alex, I don't know. They don't know about the hip hop specialist. So that's a little inside joke. So back in the days, I was in a musician. I was in a hip hop live funk jazz band. It was a little bit of everything. And they wrote up an article on me here locally at the Houston Chronicle, and they called me the hip hop specialist. I was like, hip hop specialist. I'll take it. Sure, why not? I'll take hip hop specialist. So that was an honor. But yeah, hip hop specialist among other things, right, Alex? No, I love hip hop. You guys know that. So I'll take it. Thank you, brother. And then Reggie says 4 to 16 ounces bottles of day. I would like to drink a lot more consistently. Reggie, I think that's enough. I was talking to my trainer not too long ago. I'm like, yo, like, tell me, man, like, be honest with me. Like, is this whole like a gallon a day like healthy for you? Like, is that a thing? And he goes, not necessarily. Like, that's kind of like what everybody's saying, that you should drink a gallon of water. And I tried. I'm like, I think I've had like 64 ounces of water, and I think I was done. Like, I'm good. So yeah, apparently like there's some other things that you should monitor. I won't go into detail, but I heard that it's not quite the case. So yeah, I'm like, drink when you're thirsty, drink as much as you can for sure. So but yeah, cool, man. Well, thanks for chiming in, Reggie. Great to see you guys. Listen, again, if you are tuning in, join in and say hello in the conversation. I'm going to go through this. Again, just do some housekeeping. If StreamYard, give StreamYard permission to say hello. If not, I will just see Facebook users. Some of you already know. You've been coming back like DW. Like, I know who you are. So please. Of course, if you're tuning in from YouTube, like my boy Alex and a few others, and also on the Ozeal business page, come and say hello. I would love to say hello to you back and connect. So StreamYard, happy 1st of April. By the way, can you believe April is already here? Like, this whole year, and I say this, and we all say this like every year, right? It's like every year is like on a speed bike. Like, it's constantly going, and like I feel like it was just yesterday when I started, 2022, and it was just like Q1. I was talking about Q1 goals and as a business owner and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, we're already in April. So already Q2. And yeah, it's crazy, right? But hey, we're here. We're here, grateful to be here, grateful to be alive, to be able to experience this live and vibe with you right now at this moment. You could be anywhere, but you decided to just hang out for a little bit, as much as you can with me, and let's vibe. All right. So let's go ahead. Facebook user, I see you. I don't know who you are. So let me know your name. Like, let me know your name. I want to say hello, give you a shout out. Javon, oh my God. It has been forever. What's going on? And thank you for chiming in on the whole water thing, water weight thing. Yeah, it goes by your weight. Yes, I've heard that too as well. But man, it's still a lot of water though, Javon. Oh my God. Hi, Ozeal. Good to see you again. It's so good to see you, my friend. Oh my God, it's been ages. I feel like it's been what, 4 or 5 years since I've seen you. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I know you were doing a lot of things. I think you were getting into the podcast or YouTube space, and then you were going to do something with your running club. So let me know, Javon. We got to catch up. Let me know how you're doing. We'll love to reconnect with you, my friend. It's been a minute. Okay, so that being said, okay, guys. Let me go ahead and go get right into it. And again, as always, I always encourage engagement. Part of, again, the live and vibe is just to be able to include your thoughts, include your ideas. If you don't agree with me, I invite that as well. Again, this is all about open conversation about certain things that I've experienced and want to share and I've coached my clients with. But again, it's not gospel. Like it's my gospel and my experience, and just want to share with you because I believe it can provide value to you and help you in your journey. So let me go ahead and take this off real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Alex, I need to get that stream deck, man, right? Okay, so let's do this, guys. Today's topic. And again, I believe that this could be applied to many things, whether you're a YouTuber or you're specifically a podcaster, but I think this can apply to anything in life. But let me break it down. So the topic today is how to stay consistent with podcasting. All right. And I'm going to share with you this because I get this question a lot. And some of you that have been in the podcasting game, like DW and a few others, that this is a question, and you see this like in Facebook groups all the time. Like, how do you stay motivated? How do you avoid creative burnout? How do you stay consistent with your diet? How do you stay consistent with podcasting? How do you stay consistent with creating content, right? How to stay consistent. That big C word is a hot topic, especially in our space as a podcaster. So, and by the way, Rob just hit me up. Rob, I got to let you know. But by the way, I got a new T-shirt. Look, shout out to Uscreen. Can you guys see this real quick before we get started? Let me just move the mic. Ozeal, why are you making it difficult? Look, boom. So shout out to Uscreen. They sponsored our Vid Houston event this past week, or last Tuesday. So shout out to Rob Belasabes of Uscreen.tv. They're a live streaming service. All right. So they should be sponsoring this. We're live streaming. They should be. Rob, we'll talk about that later. But anyhow, so thank you so much for this free swag. Love the T-shirt, man. Look at this. Bam. I promise. I'm not trying to flex, y'all. I promise. I'm like, bam. But anyway, I'm trying to show you this little logo. I promise you, I'm not flexing. Oh, check it out. Bam. Dope logo, little screen, little play button. So yeah, shout out to you, Rob Belasabes, my man, for hooking us up with some free swag. Appreciate you, bro. Rocking it. Promoting, supporting you, brother. All right, your company, what you guys are doing, big things. Okay, so focus. How to stay consistent. All right. So number one, and again, write down, take notes. You can watch this on the replay. Hashtag replay, and then also again, just hold on to your questions, shoot them out, and I'll get to them in a bit. All right. So number one, how to stay consistent. Number one is create a practical, realistic plan. What are you talking about, Ozeal? Practical and realistic. Okay. Like break that down just a tad bit. I will. Practical meaning that whether you are starting a podcast for the first time or you already have a podcast but you're struggling with consistency, what I always suggest is be very practical, keeping it super simple. Realistic meaning look at your lifestyle. If you are working double shifts, if you are working, weekends and working, 8+ hours, or, you have a family, taking that into account. If you have a very, very busy lifestyle and you're trying to squeeze in a consistent podcast workflow, it's important for you to really, just step back and reassess everything or assess it and say, what can I realistically accomplish? Now, you'll hear some of the podcast experts out there, and myself included, I subscribe to this, is the art of batching, right? We heard the word content batching, and let me know in the comment section if you do some content batching. And again, there's pros and cons to everything, right? Even to content batching. It sounds like, it sounds sexy, and it sounds something that could be, it's attainable, but it also comes with challenges as well. But for the most part, content batching is where you set a day, schedule a day, where you batch your content and you front load your content. Whereas, like, for example, like tomorrow, I'll be recording 4 episodes and I'll pretty much front load 1 episode a week for the month of April. So technically I'm done, right? That's just the basic minimal. So I'm good there, right? And that's consistency. But if I wanted to add to, that also alleviates the stress, right, of trying to do it every week, because that comes with some serious challenges. So, Reggie, I know you feel me on this. As some of you who I've coached, that if you're very proactive and you batch your content, it sets you up for success. And also, it just keeps your podcast on a consistent workflow, consistent rhythm. And that's very important. But I think what it is about being practical, I think one of the things that are not talked about amongst this podcasting space is being very, very realistic about your lifestyle. Like, really, really look at your lifestyle. I had a client recently who launched a podcast, and he's a super, super busy business owner. Like, he's running a business, right? He's operating, he's the operator, CEO. So we had to really, and he wanted to do 2 episodes a week. And that wasn't realistic to him. Like, we had to really look at it and had to be like, look, dude, when can you squeeze the time in? And then going through the assessment, we figured out that he wasn't able to do 2 episodes a week. That just wasn't realistic. So I said, let's just pull it back a bit. And even if we do 2 episodes every other week, which is really what he had time for, because he didn't want to do the content batching, that allowed him to breathe, relax, and give us some time to record, publish, and also do diligence to the promotion side of things. So again, number one, be very practical and realistic, super important. And again, chime in, let me know if you have a realistic, practical plan. Drop it in the chat. Let me know. We'll love to hear your thoughts. Number 2 is blocking out the external noise, blocking out the negativity, blocking out the naysayers. Like, can anybody, like, you probably like, hey, I can relate to that. I don't have a podcast, but I can relate to that. Like, really blocking out the negativity, because there will be people that don't get what you do. There will be people out there that are really they want to support you, but they don't understand like the hard work that it takes to have a successful podcast, especially in the beginning when you're deep in the trenches. So number one, if you have some negative naysayers, negativity, I talked about that in my podcast recently, those energy vampires, the people who just really don't get it, then it's important for you to keep them at bay. Okay. Because that's not going to be conducive to your workflow and your energy that you need in order to have a successful podcast. So just keeping that in check. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I see you. Facebook user. I think that's UDW. If not, then let me know. Drop your name, please. So agree about the naysayers. Yeah, it just happens. Again, there are people that won't get it, and you have to be comfortable with it. I think if you're a creator, or let's say you're a business owner that's starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or anything that's creative, people just won't get it. People just won't get what you do. And I think it's important for you to kind of keep your eyes on the prize, and just focus on what you need to accomplish, with the podcast. So that is number 2. Number 3 is adopt a learner mindset. Okay. Adopt a learner mindset. I consider myself a hyper learner, big time. Meaning that I read all the books. I listen to all the podcasts. I'll go to conferences. I put my butt in places and in front of people that can get me to the next level. I've always been like that. I feel like I could be a lot more intentional with mentorship, and I have. I've hired coaches before, but just having this a learner mindset. I don't know, Reggie. I know if you're watching this, I know you can relate to this because you're in the personal development world, and I believe like personal development, and I talked about this, personal development and podcasting or creating go hand in hand. Like, you really have to have that mindset developed in order to be able to go through the fire. To take your content higher, so you can inspire before they expire. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do it. Alex, I'm not going to do it, man. Hip hop specialist came out of me. All right. Okay. So again, adopt a learner mindset. Accept help. Be open to help. Like, even if you think you know it all, like even me, like I'm constantly learning new things from from podcasting. Like, it's evolving. It's growing. Podcast movement recently came out, was last week, and there was a lot of things that were coming out that I was just like, man, this is happening in the marketing world, and this is how we can adapt to this, and live streaming. It's constantly evolving, which is the reason why I love this space, because of the evolution, how quick it is. And it's all about speed and execution these days. And as a creator, like, I'm always making sure that I'm surrounded by the information So, I can apply it to what I'm doing and also my clients' work. So again, join a mastermind group. We Podcast Influence Academy, y'all. We have a mastermind. Learn about copywriting, learn about marketing, learn about sales, learn about business. If you are serious about turning your podcast platform into a business platform and make money out of it, speaking, learn how the art of speaking, how to conduct interviews. There are so many skill sets that are required to have a successful podcast. And maybe we can talk about that on a different live stream. But you got to immerse yourself in the learning process. Can I get an amen? Can I get it? Can we get, are you feeling me? Are you feeling me right now? What do you think? DW. People have called me an expert in podcasting. I have done it for so long, but I hate being called. That is always evolving and always learning. Absolutely, man. I mean, I know I don't like the word expert either, or guru, because guru feels like you're like all knowing, like you know it all. I've been called that before. The biggest one was somebody called me pod god, which I was like, oh, please don't call me that. I get it, but I'm not that. I'm just, again, I consider myself DW, and you're like this because you have a network. I consider myself just uh, a creator with a community building mindset. Like I'm all about community, and I simply just want to show up for my peeps, right? Just the reason why we started Pod Houston and Podcast Influence Academy. I'm just the guy who creates a space for others to join in on the party. So that's where I'm at with that. Let's see. Reggie, you said you definitely have to have the willingness to learn, regardless of how much you think you know. There's so much to learn. Absolutely, Reggie. And I think that's one of the things that I saw in you early on was like, yo, let's just invest in coaching. Let's get in the mastermind because like it's important for you to be around your people. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. DW expert to me means I stop learning and growing. Absolutely, man. I mean, 1000%. I think that, I've actually came across a couple of podcaster guru expert and we were talking, but he came with it with just like an ego. We're talking about podcasting. And he was like, I'm not going to join, any, masterminds and conferences. And I'm like, it's your choice. But I could tell like he was just very, very confident in what he knew. And that was it. But I saw a lot of holes in his marketing game. I'm like, dude, if you could just really invest and continue learning the marketing game, you learn, about podcasting, but you don't know marketing. And I feel like that's going to be to his detriment. So it's unfortunate. You even see the gurus and experts go down that route and allow ego to dictate how they, proceed with their podcast. So anyhow, adopter mindset. All right. So next thing, how to stay consistent with your podcast. You vibe with your tribe. Like we're doing now. Like we're doing right now. Like right now. We're doing this. We're vibing. I'm vibing with the tribe. And it's important that you vibe with your tribe in order to stay alive and amplify. Oh my God. Why am I keep on rapping? Like, I don't, what's happening? Is it just the water? Is it the alkaline water? Let me take a break. I don't know what's going on. I think it was you, Alex. Vibe with your tribe. Being silly. It's Monday, y'all. It's Monday. It's April 4th. I'm going for it. Okay, so vibe with your tribe, meaning, okay, so this is what I mean. You just stay close to your community. You stay close to your community. If you're a podcaster, join a Facebook group. Find a Facebook group that is aligned with your values, with the community builder, the community leader that you share values with, that you love the energy, that you love the vibe, that you love the community support. Get surrounded with the right people. All right. You can't develop the right mindset without the right people. And it's positioning yourself to really, number one, be aware of that and put yourself in that situation where you're around the good people. Like, I was reading a book not too long ago, and it was talking about a guy who wanted to scale his business. And he was like, I wanted to scale my business to 7 figures. So I had to find other people that were doing that, the 7-figure number, so I can learn and soak up the energy and be around them. And the same thing with podcasting. If you want to succeed with podcasting, I always say to my clients, like, yeah, coaching is great. I'm going to get you going. We're going to rock this, right? But, in order to stay consistent, like stay surrounded with your people, stay surrounded with your tribe, because that's the reason why we have a Reggie here and a few insiders. And we started this mastermind. And I've noticed, and I've said this before, but the ones that are in a mastermind or part of a community are the ones that succeed. I see it, y'all. I see it from the sidelines. Not only am I in the trenches, but when I see people succeed with podcasts, are those are the ones that are actually in hanging out with the podcasters. They're in the trenches, they're supporting each other, and they're building community. Why? Because it goes back to what I was saying. They get it. They get surrounded by people, or they surround themselves around people that get it and support and understand the challenges and the ups and downs. It feels like when you're a podcaster, right? So that's that. So again, your vibe attracts the tribe is a quote that I really enjoyed. Boom, boom. I think, let's see. The one big thing I tell my podcasters coming to the studio is to not concentrate on the likes and follows. Yes, put out your content. It doesn't happen overnight. Patience, right? Patience, patience, persistence, having purpose, having passion, all the P's. I love all the P's. But you're right, DW. It's all about, as I always say, message over metrics. And although you may have objectives, and we'll talk about that in a bit, but it's important for you to have a message that you're passionate about. Connecting with your audience is extremely important. John G, what's up, John? Thank you for adding your name, by the way, buddy. Yes, connecting with your audience is extremely important. John G was, I just saw you recently, buddy, at the Vid Houston event. And John is one of those individuals that is constantly, speaking of learning, like is always learning, going to different meetups. I've seen him in several meetups, always supportive of Vid Houston and of course Pod Houston. And just he is always connecting with the tribe. And he's great at networking. And John, I mean, kudos to you, my man, because when I see you from afar, like I know we don't get to talk at events much, a lot of going on, but I see you, man. I see you, and I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you stay connected with your tribe, my man. So big kudos, props to you, my friend. And then concentrate on your content, not the likes and follows. 1000%. And again, if you're just joining us, just say hello. I'm here. I'm interacting. You're live and vibing with me. Say hello, and let's keep it moving, shall we? Okay, so the next thing, number 5. You ready for this one? Take a break. But Ozeal, what are you talking about? Take a break? Take a break when you're talking about consistency? We can't take breaks when we're trying to be consistent. Isn't that oxymoronic? Absolutely not. I'm here to say that there is nothing with taking a break. I love being consistent. Consistency feels good. It creates momentum. It creates movement. It cultivates trust between you and your audience. It trains your audience of when you're going to show up. It's part of leadership. Consistency is all of those things and much, much more. But also, I understand the importance of giving yourself grace, giving yourself permission to take a break, whether it's a health issue that happens, which life happens, right? Whether it's family issue, whether it's a divorce, whether it's, something that you just need to collect yourself, in order to get back on track. And it happens to everybody. It's called life. It's called life. So sometimes when I see people in Facebook groups talking about how do we stay consistent, I'm like, bro or sister, you haven't even gotten out the gate yet. I got 6 or 7 episodes in. I'm like, nah. Consistency doesn't start there. It starts way before, but also it starts even more when you're in the trenches, when you're 50 episodes and above. Like that's when you feel the pressure a little bit, right? Can you relate to that? Like after like 50 episodes, you're like, oh shit, I really gotta I gotta continue going. Like I got people showing up here, right? But your listeners also understand that. People know people go through creative burnout. And again, this is the reason why this topic is very important, because we all go through it. And of course, I want to help you and give, some tips on how I've been able to break through and manage to create a burnout. I go through it as well. I'll be honest with you, complete, like full, like vulnerability moment. I really, I don't love social media all that much. Like I really don't. Like I love the connection. I love the creating. And I have to remind myself that the podcasting and the live streaming and showing up for you is really like that is my jam. Like the community and the live event, that's my jam. But if I focus too much on planning, on overthinking, on trying to make it perfect, and trying to do all the things, I'm gonna fail. Like I'm gonna fall. Like it's happened before, numerous. It happened recently. So it's important for me to always be reminded, which is the reason why this topic resonates with me, and I hope it provides value to you. Is just to remind you once again that it's okay to take a break, my fellow creator. It's okay to take a break. It's okay. Your listeners will get it. They understand. As a matter of fact, they will support you. Okay. You don't have to apologize or explain to them what happened. You don't got to tell them your personal stuff, but just get back, take a break, come back, reset it, and your loyal fans will be there. Okay. So I just wanted to, I know it was kind of oxymoronic to say, be consistent. You're talking about consistency, but take a break. Is that cool? Yeah. It's okay to take a break. If you need a break, take a break. It's okay. It's all right. Take a break. You don't have to post on Facebook. You don't take a break and then go Facebook. How do you stay consistent? No, just take a break and then get back on track. That's where I'm at. All right, let me go and read some comments. I see you guys chiming in. Boom, 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 boom. Concentrating. Okay, what's that, DW? Let's see. John G, you appreciate that. You're welcome, my friend. I'd rather have 20 people that are active listening and interacting than having 2K of nobody. 1000%, my man. Like for real. Like seriously. I completely agree with you on that. I remind my clients that all the time. No, you need to take breaks. I started a daily podcast Monday through Friday when COVID started. You know this, Ozeal, but I took a week break after 4 weeks. Daily is tough. Who is this, by the way? Yes, daily is tough. Daily is like, it's bonkers. I've heard of people try to do a daily podcast, and you can do it strategically, insanely, but you can do it if you do the content batching strategy and if it's short form content. I had a client not too long ago that wanted to do like a daily like motivational quote type of thing. And I'm like, cool, but record like batch if you can knock out 10, 20 of them, all of them in like 2 days, and that'll be great. But daily is serious, but you have to have all the quotes ready to like 52 quotes for the remaining year. To be able to pull that out, because that's daily is tough. So yes, daily is tough. Boom, 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 boom. Keeps you fresh, due season. This helps you give a break. DW, what's up, man? Okay, I got you, bro. Yeah, man, that's tough. Daily podcast episodes are crazy. I mean, honestly, even like one episode, right? Can you guys relate? Like even one episode a week is challenging, because you have to not only record it, post production if you don't have an editor, and then you have to find the bandwidth to promote and market the podcast episode, which a lot of us don't do. Right? We're kind of back recording again. So again, we have to be very mindful. Again, goes back to the realistic and practical, right? Practicality, being realistic, being practical, and being like, what does my lifestyle welcome? Like if I have a lot going on, let me just one episode. And I'm okay with like one episode every other week if you're going to stay consistent. And again, to me, consistency does matter. Like, I talked about the reasons why consistency does matter, but be realistic, like assess your lifestyle and then go from there. Nothing wrong with every other week. Alex says, take a break, but don't. Okay, look at that bars, man. Take a break, but don't go all Kit Kat mode. Yes, I agree with you, Alex. I agree, my man. You definitely don't want to do that. Like it's important to get back on track, right? I think it's important. Again, which is the reason why I'm all about being consistent, but giving yourself grace. Okay, the next thing, guys, is define your objective. DW mentioned this earlier, and I agree. Like whenever we set up, with especially with my coaching clients, you discover like why they want to do this and their goals, right? Whether it ties into their business or their personal life. It's important to be able to understand that. But I've noticed that if you create an objective, a goal that excites you, that's big and bold and bright and really kind of gets you going, that helps in avoiding creative burnout. And it's helped me a lot because I put it up there like a sticky, whether it's like again a download number or a certain or maybe a specific guest that you want to get to, or maybe just a certain metric, or getting a client from your podcast. But setting an objective, I think is important. And you can go through the content and just go for it, like, but if you don't, I've noticed that the people that are like burned out and don't have like they're struggling with consistency is because they don't have a big enough reason to podcast. They're not really, and let me know in the chat room, like if you notice, and DW, I know you've worked with coaching clients as well. Like it's important to have an objective. Like, yes, your message does matter. We talked about, again, message over metrics. Don't focus on the likes and the download numbers for the first year. It's pretty much kind of my rule of thumb. Um, Depending on the type of client, but really think about like, what is my objective? What am I trying to get out of this? I think having some sort of objective really does help you. A goal sometimes means that it's like you reach the goal and then you're done and then you have to create another one. But I think the objective, like what's the objective for your podcast? And I think that's a great question to ask yourself. Like, what's the objective? And it goes beyond wanting to inspire people, wanting to motivate people. It goes beyond I just want to have conversations with people that I enjoy having conversations with. Excuse me, there's room for that. I'm not saying that. I'm going to get to that in the next part. But having an objective, like you have to have a clear, well-defined objective in order to stay consistent with your podcast. I think that's definitely clear as day. So let me know what are your thoughts on that. If you have an objective, and actually, what is your objective with your podcast? Drop it in the chat. I'm curious to know. And again, if you catch this in the replay, let me know what is your objective. Number 7 is, just stop overthinking. Like, I think what happens with people who are trying to stay consistent is that they're just overthinking too much. Right here. Like, right. I talked about myself. Like, sometimes you overthink the process, you overthink the content, and next thing you know, you're not producing content. I'm going to share with you, and I may share with you today, but I was thinking about like my podcast, personal podcast, and I was thinking about certain things that I could do differently, and some of the things that I can do to kind of alleviate the stress and kind of like the pressure of constantly pumping out content. But I think part of it is just not overthinking it. Alex, I am thirsty, bro. I am. I think it was all the coffee, bro. I think it was all the coffee I had earlier. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm drinking water. Look at that. Not even halfway though. But yeah, I think if you figure out a way to stop overthinking it, which is very difficult, especially as a creative, this can definitely help you stay consistent with your podcast. And just know again that it's not about being perfect. It's about putting the content out there. It's about getting your message out there, and then you get better as you go. I think that's super important to keep in mind. So stop overthinking it, my friends. Anybody an overthinker? Anybody? Anybody there? Let me know. And last but not least, do you enjoy it? Enjoyment. Do you enjoy podcasting? Like, do you really enjoy doing this? Do you? I know I enjoy it. I know I enjoy the process, getting behind the mic and just sharing my thoughts, my ideas. I enjoy, like, genuinely enjoy having the conversations. And it goes back to what I was saying about having the objective, like going beyond the conversation. I think I still believe that having a metric is super essential to keeping it going. Because there may be a time where you're just like, I'm just tired of having conversations. I'm done. It's a wrap. No more podcasting. And then there are times where you're like, okay, there's an objective to this, but within the process, I'm enjoying having these conversations, and I love, interviewing. I love, sharing some of my thoughts and ideas with my community. But you got to enjoy it. I think if you don't enjoy it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. And I think the people that don't stay consistent is because after a while they don't enjoy it, and they are tying the podcast to I don't want to say an unrealistic goal, but a goal that doesn't merit the work they're about to put in to justify the process, if that makes any sense. So, for example, like people who want to start a podcast, they're like different categories, right? There's one podcaster who wants to start a podcast because everybody's doing it, right? They're just kind of jumping on the bandwagon and they're curious, and there's room for that. For scratch your itch, go for it. And then you have others that are like, I want to monetize, right? There's a lot of like gurus and experts. Hey, you can, make 6 figures, and you want to monetize, and that sounds sexy. And you start a podcast because everybody's doing it, or you're seeing again the growing trend, and you feel like you're missing out. And then you want to have massive download numbers, or for whatever reason, but you start seeing these kind of far-fetched. And I talked about dreaming big, having big, bold, bright objectives, goals. I love that could really excite you, but you got to be realistic and know that it's going to take more than a year for you to accomplish that. Like, let's be real here. Like, it doesn't happen overnight unless something happens, you connect with the right person, or you hit like this viral piece of content, or something happens. Of course, there's room for that, but you got to really enjoy podcasting. You really got to enjoy it. So let me share with you what I was going to share with you before. One of the things that I plan on doing, I think this is an exclusive, I'm going to share with you. Here's like, I was thinking about my podcast, right? I was sharing a little bit about that. And I was thinking about like, okay, I'm releasing one episode. I publish every Monday. So brand new episode. Check it out. Shameless plug. Actually, it's funny we're talking about consistency because I recorded a couple weeks ago, and it's about showing up, being consistent, so check that out. No permission needed. So I was thinking, I really like, I want to add more content. And I'm like, Ozeal, and I started asking myself, like, Ozeal, there's no reason why you should not be pumping out more content. Now, I have a very booked life, a very, very busy life, events and family, and running a coaching business and a mastermind. And I'm running 2 different groups, Pod Houston and Vid Houston. And then, I'm doing a lot. There's a lot of moving parts in my life, maybe a little too much, some would say. But I enjoy it. And I don't judge myself if I drop the balls, because there's a lot of balls that I drop. But I don't judge myself, and I'm getting better at that. And I believe that if you are, again, it goes back to giving yourself grace, right? Permission to just go through the process, and not everything is going to be a hit, but moving forward nonetheless. And reverting to my whole point is, I want to get to a place, and I think this is some kind of words of encouragement for podcasters or creators that are listening to this, is get to a place where you're okay with being imperfect, and you're okay with just the doing of the podcasting, like just podcasting. Whether it's just you with a Zoom recorder recording conversation at a coffee house with a fellow creative or a friend, or I'm live streaming, like, maybe I can't publish a podcast episode, but I'm live streaming maybe 3 days, 4 days out of the week, sharing. So I want to practice what I preach, and I want to immerse myself as being someone who's just relentless with the podcasting, relentless with the content creation, and just go volume. And not just like, it's going to have context, but just go heavy on the podcasting. Like, if you love podcasting, podcasters podcast, YouTubers create videos, screenwriters write, scripts, writers write. So I started thinking about that philosophy. I'm like, why aren't we leaning into the thing that we enjoy doing? Why are we constantly over planning, overthinking, and saying, okay, I'm going to release one episode, a week. Now, if it's realistic and practical for your lifestyle, then so be it. And for me as well, because I got a lot going on. But I'm like, why can't I just have a conversation with DW, or have a conversation with Alex, or a conversation with Reggie, and record it, and then that be the podcast episode? It doesn't have to be always sexy. And I think that unless you're having an NPR type of podcast and you're trying to, really produce and have some sort of major objective that's going to, attract or attract a specific audience, and then so be it. Then there's room for that. But for me as a podcaster, I'm like, yo, I just love having these conversations and I just want to do more podcasting. I don't want to really, this is not like an overly produced podcast, this one that I'm doing now. And I'm like, I just want to do more of that. So I ask you and encourage you, lean into the conversations, like have more of it. Like if you're podcasting, lean more into it, enjoy it, like enjoy this stuff, like enjoy it. It's not supposed to be taken seriously, y'all. Unless you're like part of this major podcast network, and then there's numbers and deliverables and metrics that you got to meet. Like, yo, your podcast, you're building a personal brand. Have fun with it. Have conversations. Enjoy it. One of the biggest regrets that I made and that I have in my past is, when I was in the music business, I was so caught up in goals and getting signed by record labels and doing all the things that I just failed to enjoy making music and being around my bandmates. True story. Like I missed that. I felt like I kind of like was like, oh, we got to do this and we got to, print it out. And there was the business side. Don't get me wrong. Like we have objectives, but just like take a step back and do it and just enjoy it. Like enjoy it. I definitely don't want that to happen in my podcasting career. And I encourage whenever I coach clients, like just have fun with it. Like don't take it seriously. I felt like I wanted to be like I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like I want to be the Red Hot Chili Peppers of podcasting, because you saw like other bands be so serious, and you saw the Chili Peppers on stage, and I've seen them like numerous times live, and they have so much fun. I'm like, I want to be like the Red Hot Chili Peppers of podcasts. I just want to have fun. And I see some of my colleagues that you probably haven't watched the comments, but you guys been the Red Hot Chili Peppers podcast. Ozeal, you lost your mind. I have friends that I see that are like live streamers and podcasters, and they're just constantly podcasting and they're just doing their thing, having a blast. And I'm like, I need to lean into that. Like, I need to do more of that. Again, I think it makes it a little bit more challenging when you're running a business, but when it comes to podcasting, I'm reverting back to my love, which is just having conversations, just vibing with my people. And that's where I'm at with that. So let me take a break, water break, because I'm thirsty, and just check in with these comments. I miss it so much. You know the deal. If you don't enjoy it, then it's not for you. DW, 1000%, man. And that's what I tell people. You got to enjoy it. And the people that are like, again, struggling with consistency is because they don't enjoy it. They didn't have an objective, or their objective was just a little bit too crazy. 100,000 downloads in a month. It's ridiculous. It will ruin your consistency. 1000%. Yep. You know this about me, Ozeal, but I enjoy connecting with people in my community. Yeah, I know that, John. You definitely do, man. That's why I see you at all the events. Reggie is saying, I feel that my enjoyment of podcasting is the number one reason why I stay consistent. Yes, Reggie. Yes. From the from my first coaching session, one of the early ones, man, I can tell I was asked you, why are you doing this, my man? And you were like, I really want to help people. I want to motivate people. I want to be a speaker. This is the space. And I feel like podcasting is a platform for me to be able to develop that skill set and for me to do this. And I was like, that's it. Then do it. And you did. And you enjoy the mastermind, and you've been part of the groups, and you attend all the events, and you're always learning, and you're in the mix. I mean, there's no reason why. I mean, you're successful because of your action, of executing and just being a part of the community. So little nod there for you, my friend, for rocking that mic for this long. It took us 3 years with the weekly podcast before I started the network to get where we got sponsored and such. But this was 12 years ago. Long time. It took a long time. I monetized my podcast. It took me, well, at that time, it was early. Excuse me. I was able to monetize it within 6 months, but it was an affiliate. It was a deal with HostGator. But now it's a whole different ball game. So yeah, I mean, for people who want to get sponsorships, I mean, you could do it. Either you got to have a really great podcast, great pod, great content, something different, something unique, or you have to have maybe somebody in your squad, in your team, who's really business savvy, who can get you some sponsors. But either or, again, I don't want to talk about that. The whole thing is just, again, DW, you enjoy the process, you enjoy podcasting, and it took you a minute for you to be able to do it. And it was a weekly, right? It was a weekly podcast that you did. And I think that's right there. It goes to show that you got to put in the work, y'all. You got to put in the work in order to make it happen, in order to really make some waves happen. So that's that. Um, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm posting a couple links here, my friend, and thank you for everybody who joined in, whether or not you were in and out. DW, Reggie, Alex, Javon, John G, anybody who was kind of watching from afar. I see you. I didn't see the comments, but thank you so much for joining in. If you catch us on the replay, #replay, comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you got any value from this, if any of this resonated. For those that are watching, did this resonate with you? Did I make any sense? You ever like, did I make it? Was this valuable? Like, is there anything that kind of like resonated with you? If so, please let me know. It's question. Oh yeah. I'm open it up to Q&A. Let's do it. Can you talk about the growth of podcasts with celebs and how it discourages new podcasters? I deal with this with my new podcasters. They want to be the next Joe Rogan. DW, man. That's you, I believe. You asked a question. Can you talk about the growth? Yeah. So, yes, let's talk about that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We got a few more minutes. The growth of podcasting is exploding. And a lot of celebrities are now podcasting. As an indie podcaster, and there are many indie podcasters that are saying, well, and you hear this a lot. I think we got this last time. Like, it's oversaturated, right? It's gotten way too competitive. It's noisy out there. And the answer is yes. There's a lot of celebrities, big corporate companies that you wouldn't even think would have a podcast are now starting a podcast. I was talking to my family. We were actually out for a family dinner yesterday, and I was sharing how, if you notice, have you guys noticed this? That now, I really don't watch a lot of TV, but sometimes I'll watch TVs, and when there's like a trending topic, right? Recently with the whole Will Smith thing and Chris Rock, or just the Ukrainian war, and just like big trending topics, even in politics, they're interviewing people, right? And they're interviewing like podcast hosts. Like, they recently, I think it was like not too long ago, they interviewed somebody. I forgot who it was, but they're interviewing podcast. Have you guys noticed this? Like, it's now big major corporate companies, journalism, now they're going towards podcasters to get their thoughts and ideas on the certain matter. Like, how crazy is that? Like, that's where podcasting is. And that's why I talked about podcasting goes beyond just having a platform and creating the content, but now you're building a personal brand, because big companies and big organizations and TV networks are now gravitating and finding podcasters to get their expertise, their thoughts on the matter, on the subject, or whatever's happening. So I'm seeing that now. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that, but now the podcast host has like weight, like they have, merit of what, they say and what the industry is talking about, because they have a podcast. And that's the time that we're living in, and a lot of people who are afraid to start a podcast simply because they see a celebrity do it, or they see Joe Rogan do it, or whatever, And Joe Rogan, again, and this, DW, like, Joe Rogan's been doing it for a hot minute. I mean, back when it was, what was the live streaming company? I forgot what the live streaming company was, but yeah, I forgot the name of it. But anyways, he was doing it big, and he's been doing it for a while, and he was in broadcasting, so he has a massive fan base, and he's been doing a lot, and he's consistent, and he's just been putting in work, right? He's in TV. I mean, he has a lot of attraction. But what I'm saying here is that don't get my message, DW, for anybody who's watching this who says that, hey, it's getting oversaturated, I shouldn't have a space. It's been done before, but it hasn't been done by you. Okay. I heard that and I really resonated with that. Okay. Yes, everything has been done before, but it hasn't done by you. And I think if you embrace that, it shifts perspectives and it gives you a lot more confidence in knowing that everybody has a voice, everybody has a different style. And I think that if you enjoy the topic, if you enjoy talking about the thing that you're podcasting about, then everything else should not matter. And if you are good enough, meaning that you learn marketing and copywriting, and you learn how to conduct an interview if you have an interview based podcast, or if you just are funny, right? You're entertaining, people will stick around and people will support you and people will invest in your podcast. And that's just facts, you know? So get into the space because you enjoy and you want to serve and you want to be a part of this space because you want to contribute, not noise, but you want to contribute something of value to your audience. And those are the ones that are going to win, period. Period. There's going to be room for the curious cats that are going to come into the space and be like, "Ah, wasn't for me." But man, it's so sad. There was a few years back, I had a client who had so much potential, so much potential. I didn't want to go there. Heartbreaking. And coached her and great behind the mic. We got her to where she was super confident and she was rocking it. And then she just said, "Hey, I'm not going to do this because I just don't have the time. I'm going to build the business." I'm like, you don't get it. Because we looked at it as an objective, like this is going to be part of your business. Like this could be part of your marketing. Like the podcast is marketing. Podcast is marketing the message. Podcast is marketing the business. And I felt like we had some some KPIs that really we would have exceeded if she would have just stuck with the podcast as a vehicle to share her expertise, to share value to her community, and to use voice in humanizing her leadership to be able to attract more clients. But she didn't see it. And it's just unfortunate because you just got to stick with it. You got to stick with it. And she enjoyed it. It was just too much work for her. So again, it's just really heartbreaking when you see that. So again, if you are getting into the space, again, as I say, the cream rises to the top, and the people who stick with it and really enjoy it are the ones that are going to win at the end. Because this thing isn't going to go anywhere, my friends. Podcasting is going to continue to grow. There's an article that I'll publish in the Pod Houston group that YouTube is now playing big in the podcasting space, and that's going to be the future. That's going to be part of it anyway. And Web 3.0 is YouTube is going to play a major space. So that's going to be a great opportunity for us live streamers / podcasters / YouTubers to be able to really reach out a bigger audience and really connect on a deeper level. So I'm really excited about the possibilities and the opportunities that are going to be arising for a podcaster. So yes, if you're an indie podcaster and you're discouraged by celebs and the Joe Rogans of the world, don't be. They got their own people. You got your own people. Focus on your people. Focus on your tribe. Create great content, and then build your empire and watch it happen. Boom. Thank you, DW. That was a great question, my man. That was a great question. I think that's why people get put off because of the saturation. Yeah, Alex, it is, man. But at the end of the day, the thing with podcasting, Alex, is much like you. I know you subscribe to a lot of like live streamers on Twitch and on YouTube. At the end of the day, you're going to choose the creator that you like, right? I mean, you may have 4, 5, 6, 7 creators that you like, podcasters that you like. So at the end of the day, you're going to vibe with whoever you enjoy. Not all creators are created equally. Some people are not going to like my style of teaching and the way I vocalize or the way I share. They're not going to like my energy. They're not going to like everything about what I do. And then there are going to be people who would be like, I like Ozeal's teachings, or I like the way he shares his content. And then vice versa, like as well. Some people are not going to like your podcast, your platform. So as a consumer, we're going to get attracted to the people who I've noticed that who you're aligned with, like who shares the same values, who you like their energy, or they have a great personality, or their charisma, or they're entertaining, or they're very educational. You're going to gravitate towards that. So yes, it's oversaturated, meaning that the numbers are there, like the numbers are growing, and everybody and their mama are starting a podcast. Not my mama. I don't think my mom's going to start a podcast, but she does. I would invite that, Mom. I can help you. I know a guy who can help you start the podcast. Anyway, but if you can, it's oversaturated, but I think there's still room, man. I think there's still room for a lot more voices, especially voices of diversity, voices from different backgrounds. and just diverse thoughts, man. I think podcasting, again, is audio on demand, meaning that if you like it, you can subscribe to it and follow. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it, but there's still space for everybody to share, which is the reason why social media has blown up, which is the reason why I'm excited about the metaverse and kind of Web 3.0, because there's going to be a lot more that's going to be involved in creating space and creating more of an interconnective relationship between the creator and the consumer. Wow, I went on a rant there. Wow, Alex, see what you did there? But yeah, man, it's definitely, everybody is starting a podcast, and celebs are starting a podcast. And I said it a long time ago, watch out, indie podcasters, because the celebs are coming. The pros are here. And what's happening now, I've gotten like a lot of like people who are coming up to me saying, hey, I really want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. So as a coach, like, this is awesome for me. But again, it goes down to, why you're doing it and who you're going to serve. And if you're going to start a podcast, like, contribute something. That would be my thing. That would be my advice. If you're going to start a podcast, like, bring something to the table. Like, bring something to the table, like a unique perspective, a new flavor, a new attitude. Bring something to the table. Don't just, and I won't say just don't, because I'm a big believer of just scratching your own itch. Do it because you have permission to do it, and it's easy to make it happen, right? To start. But man, if you really want to be successful with podcasting, have purpose, have passion, have patience, and be persistent with the message. And I promise you, you will succeed. Whether it's in monetary, whether it's, just providing value to building an audience, to building your empire online, but you will succeed. There will be someone who needs your medicine. There's someone who needs to hear your message, who needs to hear something that you provide to them at this point, at this moment of life. So keep that in mind. Your voice is powerful, and I think there's room for everybody, but just make sure it's directed in the right place. It's coming from the right place, right? It's coming from the heart. Woo! Whoa! What's going on? How you doing? I got 3 people in the Pod Houston group. Hello there. Who's there? Is anybody there? Is anybody listening? I'm quitting. I'm quitting live streaming. I only got 3 viewers. I'm quitting. It's done. I'm done. I suck at this. I'm done. Quit. Can't be consistent no more. I'm done. Just playing, y'all. I'm enjoying this. Live streaming gives us this opportunity for like people who are just want to vibe, man. I really, really love this. And I'm going to do this more. I talked about this last time, that I'm going to be doing a lot more of this moving forward. So I think I'm going to talk about different topics, and it'll probably be at a different time, maybe in the evening, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alex dropped in a comment real quick. It is unfortunate that there's a lot of famous people who are jumping on it because it's the popular thing to do, man. It's just the nature of the beast, bro. When people see the opportunity, when they see the numbers, it's just, people are going to jump on, and I think that's the reason why advertisers are pouring a lot of money into podcasting. There's a reason why a lot of celebs are getting into podcasting, but they see, they see the value of it. They see like, it's a powerful tool to have conversations. It's super powerful. Like, I was watching a Netflix show and not too long ago, and I was like, oh, it's, this is really cool. And the next thing you know, like, the people that were in the show like started a podcast, and they had like bukus of like downloads and followers because they were taking the conversation outside of the Netflix documentary into a podcast, and now they can follow them and keep in touch with them and get like the exclusive information. I mean, in a way, I love it, man, because I think it's a beautiful way of being able to cultivate and create culture with podcasting, is that you're giving them the exclusive. Like, when people listen to podcasts, my podcast, I feel like I'm truly, like, I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm really giving like a piece of my soul to them. Like, I'm really sharing some vulnerable stories and vulnerable things that I don't share elsewhere. Even with the live stream, like, I share a lot with you guys that I don't share like on my, talks or anywhere else. My podcast, the same thing, So I think, it's, people are starting podcasts, but I think if it comes from a good place, and a lot of people are now getting into podcasting because they just simply want to market the brand. And again, there's room for that, man. It's going to continue growing, and I'm excited about where podcasting is going. just because I'm just seeing it blow up and the numbers are growing and growing and more money is being poured in. And there's going to be a lot of room for a lot of indie podcasters like ourselves to be able to get unified, to get organized, to learn our business and to be able to support each other. Like, DW, what he does with his podcast network, and, what we're doing here with Pod Houston. This is an indie community, but, we have a lot of things that we're trying to accomplish, and we're planning, like, partnering up with some of the big companies out there that are supporting. I mean, look at this. I mean, we landed a deal with Uscreen, for Vid Houston. So there's a lot of companies that are out there that are making moves, that are supporting the indie community, because let's face it, like, without the indie creator community, there's no model. Like, we set the trend. Let's be real. We're the foundation to this thing. What we're doing it, like, in our closets and in our garages, and we're doing it, no bad lighting, bad audio, way before, the celebs got in and got their fancy studios and all, but respect. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. There's room. Again, I think if anything, there's more pressure and incentive for indie podcasters, for indie creators like yourself to really level up, to pro up. Again, it goes back to what I was saying, to really surround yourself with the mastermind, get the education, get the information, learn marketing, learn copywriting, really get yourself associated with the right tools to level up your podcast, because the pros are here, the celebs are here, the money is in our space. Okay. And we can have a piece of the pie, but it's only the indie podcasters that get it, that are dedicated, that are consistent, and are committed to their message and focus on their message over metrics. The ones that really put in the work are the ones that are going to succeed in this space, period. Done. Like, I'm done right now. I'm good. All right. Alex, great questions. DW, great questions. Everybody else who chimed in, thank you so much. I had a blast. This was fun. This was a great way to kick off my April. I wish you guys an amazing, amazing week. I'll be back next Monday. Same time, same channel. And you're right, Alex. Knowledge is power, my friend. Knowledge is power, but community is currency. Kaboom. I left the room. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hey, listen, I never take your time for granted. I know some of you, Alex, some of you are working, doing the dues, making it happen, making that money. And some of you are just kind of chiming in, hanging out. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for vibing with me, for being there, for being so supportive of Pod Houston, for being supportive of the Podcast Influence, the YouTube channel, and just being supportive on everything that we're doing here with this space. And I appreciate it. So one thing real quick before I let you go. Oh my God, I forgot. I did at the bottom. I have a little ticker. So buy me a coffee if you guys want to do that. Buy me a coffee. I welcome that. One thing I do want to mention before I let you guys go, and I'll mention this next Monday, because next Monday will be the day before the event. Where did I put this at? Okay, here we go. So next Tuesday, Pod Houston is partnering up with, speaking of like other companies that are really doing some amazing things for this space, Descript, and they are a audio video transcription. They do a lot editing service for content creators, and they are investing heavy into the podcasting space. And we partnered up with them, and they're going to be giving a presentation how to create an easier, faster, better podcast workflow. And I'm excited to be able to share that, to create this space for you guys and be completely free. So please join in. I told them Pod Houston will be showing up big time. So I'm telling you this right now. If you're watching this on replay, join us, because we got to let them know that we do it big here in Pod Houston. Texas does it big always. So let's show up big for them. And have an amazing audience for them to provide this amazing presentation that I'm really, really excited about, because I haven't personally used them, but I know some of their insiders have used them and they love Descript. So it's going to be an amazing event. Make sure that if you join the Pod Houston group, RSVP. I'll post it up also in this YouTube live stream as well. But April 12th, Pod Houston Descript, free event. Join us and look forward to seeing you there. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. I am out the door. Thank you. Have an amazing, amazing day, amazing week. And I look forward to catching you next Monday at 11 a.m. I'm Ozeal signing off. Till next time, peace, one love, and remember, go out there and do something amazing. All right, guys. Love you guys. Cheers.